campaigns. In many organizations, there exists a divide between those people that work in marketing and those people that work in sales. Now, I'm not speculating that there is a divide in the sense that these teams don't like each other, although that's sometimes the case, but rather the divide is usually the result of one team not being made fully aware of what the other team's up to. Now, I've seen many cases where salespeople have no idea that the company is running a marketing campaign, and they're left looking foolish when a customer quizzes them on the latest deal that they've seen and the salesperson knows nothing about it. Now, the salespeople, they aren't blameless either. Often they won't tell marketing how or if they're following up on the leads that the marketing team produces. So rather than a close synergy, there's often a lack of communication between the two parties. Now, in Microsoft CRM 4, each marketing campaign is designed to provide what's known as closed-loop marketing, whereby things like the campaign activities, targets, and results are all captured and related. In CRM, there are two different types of marketing campaign that you can create: a regular marketing campaign and a quick campaign. Now, the difference between the two is that traditional marketing efforts that require multiple activities would be a feature of a marketing campaign, whereas a quick campaign represents an instant marketing effort, much like a letter or an email to a bunch of leads. So if you require a quick single activity campaign like a fax to a group of customers, then you'll use the quick campaign. If it's a longer, more complex campaign that might require a fax out, followed by a phone call or a face-to-face visit with your prospect, then you'll use a regular marketing campaign. So on the left here, if we expand Microsoft Dynamics CRM and then click on Marketing, in here is where we'll find all things related to marketing. And this, of course, is where we can create our marketing campaigns and also our quick campaigns. Now, at the heart of each campaign is the leads, contacts, or accounts that you wish to market to. Ordinarily, you'd group your target market into a marketing list which you'd use as the target for your campaign. This means that the very first thing you need to do is have your leads, your contacts, and your accounts already populated in CRM in order to include them in a marketing list. So whether you target your campaign at leads, contacts, or accounts is entirely up to you and what you're expecting from your marketing campaign. Only you know if you want to target unqualified leads in the attempt to try and gather some interest in your products. Maybe you want to target contacts, people that you've already qualified or have shown interest in the past, but they're not active customers or accounts. Or perhaps this campaign is going to target your existing accounts, people that have bought from you in the past. And this is one of the key features of Microsoft CRM, as it allows you to separate marketing campaigns to key target groups, since in the real world, it's unlikely that you're always going to market your products in exactly the same way to leads than you would to existing customers. So let's use leads as an example. Let's assume that we want to promote our company's products to a bunch of leads that we've just gathered from a recent trade show that our company did. So the first step is to ensure that you have your leads already populated in CRM. Now, if I click on leads here, I presently only have one lead that I added in a previous video. So I'll use this as the basis for our marketing campaign. Now, it doesn't really matter whether I only have a couple of leads. I could have 2 or 200,000. So from a CRM marketing perspective, the process is exactly the same. So on the left here, let's click on Marketing Lists. And since we don't yet have any lists defined, we're going to click on the New button. All right, now we'll need to provide a name for our marketing list. So I'm going to call mine CRM for Training Campaign. And in our member type drop-down box over here, we're going to choose a lead. But do take note, however, that once you set this member type field and then you save this marketing list, you won't be able to come back and set it to a different member type. So either make sure that you've chosen the correct one right the first time, or you'll be prepared to create another marketing list. All right, now the purpose of this marketing list is to sell training. So we're going to enter in, we want to sell training. In the next field, the source field here, this is a free text field where you can enter in anything you like, such as the source of the list. So I'm going to enter in here trade show. Now I'm going to leave the currency here at US dollar, and we can also set a cost for this list as well, which in a lot of cases you're probably going to leave this field blank, but in situations where you might be renting an email list, for example, you could fill in the cost of how much you paid for those leads here. Now this marketing list here defaults to not being locked. However, once you've set it up, you could set this radio button to yes, and that'll lock it and prevent it from being edited. Unless, of course, you happen to come back into this marketing list and uncheck this box, but that's a good way to prevent any accidents. Now, finally, at the bottom here, we can enter in a description of this marketing list as well if we like. And at the top, we also have our standard notes tab where we can enter in any additional information about this list or perhaps the people in it. All right, well, we'll click on Save up here in the left-hand corner. And then on the left-hand side, we'll choose Marketing List Members. And since we've just created our marketing list, you'll see that we don't yet have any leads in here. So we're going to click on the Manage Members button. Now this brings up a new window here where we can either use the lookup feature to find members to add to our marketing list, or we could use the Advanced Find feature, which we've seen before in other videos. Now in my case, since I only have one lead, it's probably easy for me to use the lookup feature. But in cases, especially where you might have a large number of leads or contacts or accounts, or perhaps you want to be very specific about who you want to add to your marketing list, then you can use the Advanced Find feature. So let's use the Advanced Find feature since it's most likely the option that you're going to choose. So I'm going to choose the second option here to use Advanced Find to find members. But do note that we can also use the Advanced Find feature to remove and evaluate our members as well. All right, so we're going to choose Advanced Find to find members and we'll click on OK. And this will pop up the Advanced Find window. Now, the reason why this method is going to be popular is that you have an amazing amount of control over what criteria you want for adding members to your marketing list. For example, you might only want people from a specific country to be added to this marketing list, or perhaps people from a certain state, or even companies that turn over a certain amount of revenue. So if we click on the select link here, this will show us a drop-down box. So if we open this up, you'll find that you've got so many different fields to choose from that it's pretty quick to narrow down your criteria for inclusion into your marketing list. Well, since I only have one lead in my lead section anyway, I'm not going to select anything from this drop-down box. I'm just going to click the Find button. And it's found 2 leads here. And I will note that the previous screen only showed me the one lead. And that's because our top lead here, Bob Jones, was a lead that I disabled in an earlier video. So that's why that's appearing here, just in case you were wondering. Now, from this window here, I can either select as many of these leads as I like from the list. And note that down the bottom here, the default is to add only members that we have selected here to our marketing list, or to add them all. So I'm going to choose the second button here to add them all in, which would save me going and selecting multiple leads from the list here. And then we'll click the button down the bottom here to add these leads to our marketing list. And now you can see we've got 2 leads as members of our marketing list. So now that we have a marketing list, we can create a campaign. So we'll save and close this window, and we'll go back to our marketing folder, and then we'll click on Campaigns. Now, of course, we don't have any campaigns yet, so we expect this window to be blank, which it is. So we'll click the New button. Now, the first thing we'll need to do here is to give our marketing campaign a name, which we'll just simply call Training Videos. Now, this time, the status reason field should probably be left at proposed because we haven't run with this campaign yet, but it could easily be changed for ready to launch, launch completed, cancelled, or suspended. And these choices really don't require any further explanation. It's just a matter of selecting which one matches up with where you are within your campaign right now. Now, we can also give this campaign a code if we like. We could set what sort of response that we expect to get from this campaign, as well as what price list we'll be basing this campaign on. Now, we won't go into price list here, but if you check out our CRM video called Products, you're going to find out more about price list there. Now, we can also enter into here this free text field, what this offer is all about. Under the schedule heading, we can propose a date for starting this campaign and ending it as well, and also for when our campaign actually starts and ends. Now, the next tab we have up the top here is the Financials tab, and we can enter in a budget for this campaign, as well as how much money we expect to make from it. And finally, on the Administration tab, we could set the owner of this campaign, if it's to be owned by someone other than ourselves. And of course, we have a Notes tab for entering in miscellaneous text regarding this campaign. All right, well, up the top here, I'm going to click Save so our window stays open. And then we're going to move on to the next item, which is Planning Tasks. Planning tasks must be completed prior to distributing campaign activities, since these are things that need to be done in order to successfully deliver on our campaign. So we're going to click New here, and we'll need to enter in a subject for our task. Now, a task could be to film a TV ad or putting together a brochure. It could even be something like purchasing a mailing list from another company. Whatever it is, we'll need to enter in a subject for the task and a description of the task as well. So let's say the subject is going to be Call Artist, and the description will be ask for final copy of brochure. Now, at the bottom of this window, we can set a priority as well as a due date for this task as well, and those fields are rather self-explanatory. So up the top, we're just going to click on Save and Close. All right, now we'll move on to the next option, which is Campaign Activities. And campaign activities are the actions that are required to successfully conduct our campaign. And we'll use campaign activities to track anything else that needs to be done. Now, as expected, this window is blank, so we're going to click the New button. Okay, well, we can see here that this campaign activity is linked to our proposed training videos campaign. So for this activity, the first thing we'll have to set is whether this is to be a channel or a non-channel activity. Now, a channel activity is when the activity in question requires some form of communication directly to the customer, whether that be in the form of a letter, an email, a phone call, or a face-to-face appointment. Now, a non-channel activity will be given the setting here of Other, or you could simply leave it blank if you prefer, and you'll use this setting to track activities that must be performed during the campaign, but don't require any actual customer contact. So let's say as part of this activity, we want to email our customers. So I'm going to set it to email. And for the subject, I'm going to say email leads. And in the type drop-down box here on the right, I'll set this one to lead qualification, although you can see we have quite a few other scenarios to choose from in this list. Now in the description field here, we'll need to enter in some text, so I'll say we need to email potential customers about the new product. We can also see that this activity is owned by us since we're creating it, although as usual, we could use the lookup feature over here on the right and assign this to other people if that's what we want to do. Now the next field, the outsource vendors field, we can look up and insert the name of a vendor if a vendor happens to be involved in this activity. For example, if we were getting a third-party mailing house to mail out something for us, then we could list that here. Now next we have the scheduled start and end dates, as well as the actual start and end dates, and those are self-explanatory. We can also set a budget for this activity and also define what the actual cost is as well. And down the bottom here, we can set a priority for this activity. Now the final option we have at the bottom here is to configure an optional anti-spam setting, which simply means that we can enter in a value here which indicates the number of days that we'll want to pass before we email people on our marketing lists. That way, we don't have them think that we're spamming them with our offers. Now, when we click Save here, we can also then click on Target Marketing Lists. And if you have a marketing list configured, you'll be able to link a marketing list to your campaign activity and then use that list to email your leads as part of this campaign. Now, another thing we can do with campaigns is to create a template. Now, this is good because often you might be running a campaign that's very similar to one that you've run in the past. And instead of redoing this entire configuration each time, you can create a template and use that template for the basis of any new campaigns. All right, so let's close these two windows here for now. And we'll go back to marketing and we'll click on campaigns. And then up the top here, we'll click on the new template button. And from here, we can fill in all of these fields. And that's fine if this is the first time that you're working with campaigns. But it's likely that you, like me, already have a campaign that you've configured. And if that's the case, we'll go and close this window here. And we'll double click on our campaign that we created a moment ago. And up here in the Actions menu, we'll choose Copy as Template. Now we'll need to give this campaign template a name, so I'm just going to call mine Training Videos Copy for now. And we'll click Save and Close. And now if we close this old campaign here and then refresh this window, there's our template, which of course is a copy of our old campaign, and we can use this template to create new campaigns, and it's much quicker of course because pretty much everything we need is already filled in for us. Now along similar lines though is the concept of a quick campaign. So on the left we'll click on Marketing again, and over here on the bottom right we'll click Quick Campaigns. And of course notice that we don't actually have any quick campaigns configured. Now that's because this link here isn't where we actually create our quick campaigns, but rather where we come to view any quick campaigns that we've already created in the past. Now, a quick campaign is simply a campaign that usually involves a single activity, such as emailing a marketing list, and we can assign a quick campaign directly to leads, contacts, and accounts. So in our links on the left here, I'm going to choose leads, and in here we have the ability to create a quick campaign. And we can do this for either records we have selected on the window below, for all records on this page, or for all records on all pages if we have multiple pages of leads in this case. So I'm going to select all records on the current page, and this will fire up the quick campaign wizard, so we'll click Next. Now firstly we'll need to give this campaign a name, so I'm going to give it a name of Contact Leads Regarding CRM for Training. All right, we'll click Next. Now, how are we going to contact our leads? By phone, a face-to-face visit, a letter, a fax, and if we scroll down, we have the email option as well. So let's choose email. Now we can also leave the default and have this activity assigned to ourselves, or assign it to whoever owns the records that we're emailing, or we can directly assign it to another user or queue. And down the bottom here, if we're electing to send email like we are, we can also automatically close the email activity once CRM has sent the emails out. And that's useful since it means we won't have to come back into CRM and close off the activity manually. But of course, if you are choosing to phone your leads, for example, then CRM has no way to track if you have completed those phone calls, so you will need to close those ones off manually. All right, well, we'll click Next. And now we can enter in the details of our campaign. And the only required fields here are the subject field and the owner. Although I will point out that the owner field is grayed out since that was already set back on the previous page here where I chose to set myself as being the owner. So we'll give this a subject. We'll say notify leads about CRM for training. And I won't fill in all the other fields here since we've already talked about them in earlier campaigns. And we'll just click Next and then Create. So now on the left, if we go and select Quick Campaigns, there's the quick campaign that we created and it's ready to go. In this video, we've seen how to use the marketing features of CRM4 to create marketing campaigns for your company. Marketing campaigns are really important since it's your marketing that proceeds to drive new potential customers to your company. And that, of course, is what keeps you in business. So when you have a campaign that you want to get out to your potential customers and it only requires a single activity like a broadcast email to your marketing list, you can use a quick campaign. For a more complex and structured campaign that might involve many different stages, you could use the regular campaign, both of which allow you to maintain regular contact with your list and hopefully end up with those guys doing business with your company. which is what these campaigns are all about in the first place. We hope you've enjoyed this video and would like to thank you for supporting Winstructor.